Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead brings the director full circle to his Dawn of the Dead days with an Ocean's 11 style heist, or for fearers of large crowds, a typical day in Vegas. This movie was filled with homages to classic cinema and Snyder's past work, along with cryptic clues to how this fictional history unfolded. So I'm gonna break down all the cool details you missed in this movie. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it yet, here we go. We open on a military convoy leaving Area 51, and right away in the sky in the background, two lights are floating up there, then suddenly zip away as the trucks leave. These UFOs might just be a fun nod to this being Area 51, or a possible clue to the origin of the zombies in this universe, because throughout the film, with some of the zombies, you can see this blue glow emitting from them, which Zack Snyder actually explained this, saying, quote, "There's a number of zombies that are clearly not zombies. You see normal zombies, and then you see some robot zombies. Are they monitors that the government has placed among the zombies to monitor them? Are they technology from the other world? What's happening there?" Well, Snyder plans to explore this origin more in the prequel titles, like the animated series Army of the Dead Lost Vegas, or maybe even the live action Army of Thieves, which will feature the locksmith Dieter. I'm thinking the government recovered some extraterrestrial bioweapon from a UFO and then tested it on soldiers, hoping to make them stronger, harder to kill, but then turn them into the alpha zombies, better fit to survive the next step of evolution to replace humanity by destabilizing most of society into these shambler drones that just kill each other. I don't know, this is all just coming from a very grim imagination for ways the world could and probably will end. Some horny newlyweds cause the convoy to crash, releasing the alpha zombie. He wears dog tags, suggesting he might have been a soldier tested on. You know, when I'm trying to find the answers to these things, sometimes I just feel like I'm fumbling through the dark, and I just need a good theory or an Easter egg to cling to as my lifeline. An experience that is a lot like the sponsor of this video, State of Survival. So State of Survival is a free-to-play zombie-themed survival strategy mobile game available in both Apple and Google App stores. You just click the link in this video's description to download it now. Big news in the world of zombie mobile games, folks. From now until October, you can play as Daryl Dixon and other characters from AMC's The Walking Dead. This is basically like Batman showing up in an X-Men movie. It's a big deal. It changes the game. In State of Survival, you can join an alliance or play solo to grow your settlement and recruit heroes to fight zombies and other real players around the world. As part of the Walking Dead crossover, they're also featuring daily trivia quiz events with real prizes and collectible Walking Dead Easter eggs hidden throughout the game. It's basically like that catnip for New Rockstars fans, you know. The story is great. It's full of twists and turns. There's a giant corporate conspiracy, lots of zombies to kill. This game is a blast. So download State of Survival now using the link below and use my creator code NewRockstarsSOS to redeem as an in-game starter pack. The number of starter packs are limited, so act now. And then we get this direct homage to the horror classic American Werewolf in London.
Holy shit, are you kidding me?
It really scared me.
You really scared me, you shithead. You gonna help me up or what?
Now, this convoy's codename was Four Horsemen, a less than subtle nod to their role as harbingers of the world's inevitable apocalypse, but also a sort of callback to Snyder's opening montage in the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, which featured Johnny Cash's When the Man Comes Around, and ends with Cash quoting the Four Horsemen passage from the Book of Revelation.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
And then in this movie, Snyder includes a similar world falling apart opening montage. You're set to Viva Las Vegas, and starting with a Liberace impersonator playing unaware of the chaos behind him. And we see a zombified bachelorette party with Chippendales dancers, and one of the women's sashes reads, "Bad influence," which she very much is. Keep away from this one. Zack Snyder said he himself cameos in this movie, just very briefly for 2 frames or so, reflected in a mirror sitting behind the camera. The editors were gonna take it out, but he said he would leave it in, but yeah, you can see him here. Now, marching through this madness is our Zombie Zero, the alpha zombie, named Zeus in this movie. He's played by Richard Citrone, a longtime stunt performer and fight coordinator who's worked with Snyder on a ton of stuff, Justice League, Watchmen 300, and then later on, this zombie grows hair, showing how he's not really dead exactly, but kind of a new evolved life form. And yeah, with the name Zeus and his home base being Olympus, named after the home of the gods Mount Olympus in Greek mythology, casting Zeus and all these other alphas as kind of gods these lesser mortals have to fight. And in the wide shot of this walled off Las Vegas Strip, we get this great shot of the full sea of zombies, and they're swarming around this flaming bus, which does kind of evoke Snyder's visuals in Dawn of the Dead when the survivors escape the mall through a thick crowd on an armored bus. Dave Bautista plays Scott Ward, a former military who helped a lot of people escape Las Vegas, but now just works a grill at the Lucky Boy Diner, until Bly Tanaka shows up offering him a $50 million cut of the $200 million in the vault of his Vegas casino before the city gets nuked. Tanaka is played by Hiroyuki Sanada, whom we just saw as Hanzo Hasashi's Scorpion in Mortal Kombat, and like a ton of other great stuff. And Tanaka sends along with them the head of security Martin for the real prize, a severed alpha head, so that they can make an army of alphas for sale, so they can profit in the billions off this. You get a quick cameo from political figures Donna Brazil and Sean Spicer debating the quarantine camps and the ethics of nuking the city, which the president of this world plans to do on July 4th because it would be, quote, pretty cool and kind of patriotic. So Ward takes the job and he puts the team together, including Maria and Vanderho, an interesting character. He's got this Omega tattoo on his chest, which when the trailer came out, a lot of fans jumped on as a possible dark side Easter egg for the Snyder Cut, but really Omari Hardwick already has this tattoo. Snyder told him that they wouldn't have to cover up the tattoos because the character's former military, and that Omega symbol does still work for the character, foreshadowing Vanderho's role as the final alpha, the Alpha and the Omega, the new god, as he carries the zombies' legacy to Mexico City, a new beginning in the final scene. Also notice this shot of Vanderho is him caring for this woman in the pool in a baptismal pose, paralleling the imagery of the other alpha, Zeus, going through his own baptismal ritual at that zombie pool in Olympus. Comedian Tig Notaro plays helicopter pilot Peters. She was actually cast in this role to replace Chris D'Elia late in production, so you may notice a lot of her scenes are shot with quick cutting to her in just completely different framing, or her body VFXed into wide group shots. You can definitely notice it when they first enter Vegas with their guns drawn. Then the locksmith, Dieter, marvels over the vault design. I'm gonna mispronounce this. It's the Götterjämmerung. I'm sorry. He explains how the name comes from the Wagner opera The Ring of the Nibelung. Again, I'm sorry. But the word itself translates to downfall, but also rebirth. And it actually stems from the Old Norse phrase Ragnarok. So yeah, another parallel to the end of the world here, but not just the end, the start of a new cycle. Actually, Wagner's music returns later when the vault opens. This music was also used in the film Excalibur, which Zack Snyder loves. It's one of his biggest influences. He referenced it in Batman v Superman. So as the team plans the mission, like in the movie Ocean's 11, this movie shows us a hypothetical version of this heist unfolding, and we see this circular team-up shot. It's a lot like that shot in Avengers, but Dieter steps out of it, and by doing so, he kind of reveals how goofy and tropey that kind of shot is. It almost feels like Zack Snyder taking a shot at Joss Whedon here, doesn't it? Why would he be upset with him? And Tanaka says at the end of the mission, they'll fly off into the sunset, and we see the helicopter framed in the sun, just like the iconic poster for Apocalypse Now. Though I think the story goes that image was only on the poster, was never actually in the movie. Maybe reflecting how in this movie, that shot is not in the actual sequence of events, it's just something they expect might happen. Actually, Snyder directly references Apocalypse Now by including a version of The Doors' The End as the groups makes their way into Vegas, the song that Martin Sheen had his fun little dance to at the beginning of Apocalypse Now. And then the Coyote, Lily, leads them into the city along with Ward's daughter, Kate, going after her refugee friend, Gita, and Lily tricks Cummings into being an offering to the Alphas. And I just love how Cummings is at the tail end of this running joke of the team members being offered less and less of the cut, with Cummings taking a mere 20,000 and being the first killed off. Actually, with the exception of Maria, I think the team dies in reverse order of the size of the cut they were getting. Now, overseeing this toll exchange is Zeus, standing atop the Statue of Liberty from the New York casino, actually recalling the closing shot of the wrecked Statue of Liberty in Planet of the Apes, another apocalyptic story about an evolutionary overthrow. Now, during these scenes, Snyder includes one shot of Zeus's bride with a super shallow depth of focus as she backs away further and further out of focus. Actually, similar camera work that you might remember Snyder using on Jared Leto as a Joker in that reshot ending of the Snyder Cut. Snyder actually acknowledged that he used the same lens for that scene that he used here in Army of the Dead, since for that Snyder Cut scene, he had a real limited set for that reshoot. And they pass a billboard for Larry Fong's magic show. So Larry Fong is Snyder's longtime director of photography, worked with him on Batman v Superman, Sucker Punch, Watchmen, and he actually shot the pilot of Lost. Super talented guy, also a super talented magician who loves to hide the 3 of clubs in all of his movies, which Snyder does for him here. Also, Larry's a really nice guy who complimented our breakdown on Twitter of Batman v Superman last August. And then once they get to Bly's casino, the group splits up. Dieter, Vanderho, and Guzman go down to the vault basement where they find the remains of a past team that Tanaka had sent in before them, with the members weirdly matching them. You see Ward's red scarf, Maria's key around her neck. So Vanderhoof might be onto something with his existential rant about them being stuck in a time loop. Maybe not actual time travel in this film universe, I guess we'll see, but at least they are kind of in a cycle repeating with Vanderhoof as the new alpha at the end of the movie. And when they finally get that vault open, to the side of the door you can see a row of film reel canisters. Zack Snyder actually put these in there, saying that they were gonna be the reels of his own Snyder Cut footage that he kept in his vault, because when this movie was shot, Snyder had yet to assemble the new Snyder Cut that was released on HBO Max. So Martin beheading the bride leads to her and Zeus's unborn fetus dying. You see that blue glow there fading. Just another example of how these alphas are a new species. So he deploys his troops, who deliver the craziest kill of the movie to poor Maria, and activates the rage of Drax the Destroyer. Meanwhile, Vanderhoof fights Zeus one-on-one, Alpha versus Omega, if you think about it. But we never see when exactly he gets bitten, but it weirdly does take a long time for this infection to take hold, from being in the vault through the nuclear blast, through his long walk in the desert, through buying that private jet, through this flight to Mexico. I mean, we're talking several hours. So in the movie's final act, Lily sacrifices herself on the roof to let them escape, lets that bride head go plop, but then Ward and Peters go up to Olympus to rescue Kate and Gita, but they gotta fight Zeus on the helicopter, and he eventually shoots Zeus in the head, emitting this blue glow once again. And then over the final scene, naturally, we hear Cranberry's Zombie, leading to this epilogue with Vanderhoof emerging from that vault with millions of cash, hiking exhausted to this house in the desert. Now, actually, this is all shot in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it reminds me a lot of Walter White hiking through this same desert with millions in cash in that great final season episode of Breaking Bad, Ozymandias. Another survivor on a lonely trek, inevitably to death with way more cash than he could ever spend. Hey, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis and breakdowns of the movies you love. And thanks again to State of Survival for sponsoring this video. Download the game from the link in the description and use my creator code NewRockstarsSOS for a free in-game starter pack. And support this channel by checking out one of our many great merch options at NewRockstarsMerch.com. Follow me at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.